Want to speak real Italian from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at ItalianPod101.com.
Ciao ragazzi, hi guys, I'm Desiree. Welcome to 10 Ways to Remember Words. Associo parole nuove con parole che suonano simili nella mia lingua madre. I associate new words with words that sound similar in my native language. Okay, for example, we have with English and Italian a lot of words that are similar. For example, lingua, language, linguaggio. Cerco di usare la lingua abitualmente nel contesto della vita quotidiana. I try to use the language routinely in the context of daily life. Let's say you're washing the dishes and you think, oh, how do I say washing the dish in Italian? And then you start thinking about how to say that. Lavare I piatti. Just think about the things that you're doing and how you would explain them in the new language. Dico parole ad alta voce in modo che io possa davvero sentirle. I say words out loud so that I can actually hear them. This is a great thing to do. Like, my problem with English, especially in the beginning, I didn't really talk English. I didn't speak that with anyone. And that was a problem because still now, maybe if I hear a word, I know what it means, but then when I have to say that, I'm not sure about how to pronounce that. So practice to say words out loud. Guardo spesso i video in TV o su YouTube che sono stati progettati per i bambini. I often watch TV or YouTube videos that are designed for young children. Yeah, this is a great way because, for example, cartoons, so things that are for children, they make you understand what they're doing without saying that. Also, you should try watching something that you watched already so you can understand how to say the same thing that you already know in the new language that you're studying. I would do that. Imparo l'origine delle parole e come le diverse parole sono legate le une alle altre. I learn about the roots of words and how words are related to each other. For example, parole in Italian words and parlare, speak, it's the same root, same origin, the same radice, we would say. Parola, parlare. Io uso le ripetizioni, leggere, scrivere e pronunciare le parole più e più volte. I use repetition, reading, writing and speaking words over and over again. Be careful with repetitions because, for example, to me, after I repeat a word a lot of time, I'm like, does this word really exist? I'm not sure anymore about the word itself. So do that, but maybe with a lot of words, not just one per time. Keep them written somewhere. So even later you can check if you know the words and actually see your improvements. Parlo il più spesso possibile con i madrelingua. I speak as often as possible with native speakers. Maybe also if they don't correct you because they're not teachers or because they just want to talk, it's still useful to see if they at least understand what you're trying to say. So don't worry about mistaking because it's okay and be careful not to switch to another language just because it's easier. Keep focused on using the new language. Provo a pensare in italiano così che diventi naturale. I try to think in Italian so it becomes natural to my thought process. I would advise you to do that at the end of the day, like trying to think in the new language about what you did today. In order to go to school, I was waiting for the bus. Per andare a scuola stavo il bus. What's waiting again? And you don't remember? You can check it, write it down, you will remember faster. Aspettare, by the way, if you want to know, stavo aspettando il pullman. Ascolto canzoni e memorizzo i testi. I listen to songs and memorize the lyrics. This is a good thing to do because sometimes when you're listening to songs, maybe you don't really understand what they're saying, so it's good to search for lyrics. Try to sing along with them the next time you hear the song. So you see if you really know, if you really learned the word. Because sometimes in songs, singers use words or expressions that we don't use in daily life. Be careful about that, but still it's a great exercise. Cerco di usare la parola nuova in una frase semplice, così imparo frasi intere e non solo singole parole. I try to use the new word in a simple sentence, so I learn whole phrases and not just individual words. When you learn a word, let's say for example telephone, You can think about a phrase. I use the telephone to call my friends. Uso il telefono per chiamare i miei amici. And if you think about something in particular, like I use the telephone to call my cousin. Uso il telefono per chiamare il mio. You can search for that word too, so you will learn another new word. If you're wondering, cousin is cugino. That was the last of our 10 ways to remember words. Tell me which way is yours. Of course, everyone has a personal way, so tell me which is yours. And if you have any advice, comment and remember to subscribe. Ciao ciao, bye bye. Keep focused on using the new language.
Hi guys, welcome to ItalianPod101.com. My name is Ilaria. Nice to meet you or nice to see you again. Today we're going to talk about the top 10 phrases you'll need for a date. Let's start. Ti piacerebbe andare a cena con me? Would you like to go out to dinner with me? Ti piacerebbe andare a cena con me? Would you like to go out to dinner with me? Sei libero questo fine settimana? Are you free this weekend? It's actually a kind of very common question because usually people are very busy during the weekend. Weekend time is the best time to spend with your loved one, families, loved one, friends, because you're more relaxed, you have more time. And this is a kind of common question if you want to ask someone for a date. So, are you free this weekend? Sei libero questo weekend? Vuoi uscire con me? Would you like to hang out with me? Vuoi uscire con me? Would you like to hang out with me? It's a very informal way to ask someone to go out with him. Sei così carino. You are so cute. It's usually, in Italy especially, is more common maybe, that males make compliments to females than the opposite thing. But saying you're so cute is quite a very sweet thing to say. Sei così carino. It's not just about the physical appearance, it's also about the approach. If you're kind, you can say sei così carino, stai benissimo. You look great. So you can pretty much say this to everybody. Stai benissimo, if someone dresses in a way that you like particularly, so you can say stai benissimo. Ti chiamerò. I'll call you. So ti chiamerò is actually some other very common phrase, sentence that you can say, that you can actually use for many different situations. So ti chiamerò, I'll call you. Ti riaccompagnerò in macchina a casa. I will drive you home. You can also say ti accompagno a casa in macchina, which means the same thing. A che ora ci vediamo domani? What time shall we meet tomorrow? A che ora ci vediamo domani? What time shall we meet tomorrow? Posso vederti ancora? Can I see you again? Or you can also say like will I see you again? As in Italian it sounds like ti vedrò ancora. It's a very romantic way to say, that you like someone, that you want to see the person again. Vogliamo andare da qualche altra parte? Shall we go somewhere else? Vogliamo andare da qualche altra parte? Shall we go somewhere else? And with these two nice sentences, very kind way of approaching someone, actually reach the end of our lesson. Thanks very much guys for listening. Please comment, subscribe, watch our next video and just ask us any question. We will be always happy to give you answers. Thanks very much again and bless you. Take care. Bye bye.
Buongiorno, mi chiamo Melissa Cox. E lei? Come si chiama?
Buongiorno, Alessio Martini. Piacere di conoscerla.
Molto lieta.
Sono di Milano e tu? Di dove sei?
Io sono di Miami.
Ah, non sei di Milano. Ciao Ilaria, come stai?
Benone, e tu?
Non c'è male, grazie. Buonasera signora Ravazzi, come sta?
Molto bene, grazie. E lei?
Io sto così. Melissa, quanti anni hai?
Ho 24 anni, e tu?
Io ho 25 anni. Quanti anni ha?
Ho 24 anni, e lei?
Ho 25 anni.
Buono.
Sì, i panini del bar di fronte sono molto buoni.
Sì, il mio ha le olive, il tonno e i pomodori. E tu che panino hai?
Il mio panino invece ha il prosciutto, la mozzarella e le melanzane.
Hi guys, ciao ragazzi, I'm Desiree and today we're gonna learn together 10 lines you need for introducing yourself. Ho studiato l'italiano per un anno. I've been learning Italian for a year. Ho studiato l'italiano per... I've been learning Italian for... And then you add the time you've been learning Italian for. For example, you can say ho studiato l'italiano per un anno. I've been learning Italian for 1 year. Or, in my case, for English would be ho studiato l'inglese per 8 anni. I've been learning English for 8 years. Il mio nome è Desiree. My name is Desiree. Il mio nome è, my name is, in my case, of course, my name is Desiree. Il mio nome è Desiree. You can just add your name. You can also say mi chiamo. It means I'm called. So, yeah, mi chiamo Desiree. I'm called Desiree. Ciao, è un piacere conoscerti. Hello, it's nice to meet you. Ciao, è un piacere conoscerti. Hi, it's nice to meet you. When, for example, you're inside a big group and you go like one by one introducing yourself, maybe you don't say every time è un piacere conoscerti, but you just say piacere, pleasure. And it's okay, it's nice. Vengo dall'Italia. I'm from Italy. Vengo da means I'm from. For example, I'm from Italy, vengo dall'Italia. I'm from Dubai, vengo da Dubai. So, vengo da, you can put the country name or the city, place, it's the same. Vivo a Roma. I live in Rome. Vivo a, I live in. Vivo a Torino, I live in Turin. Vivo a Roma, I live in Rome. I live in New York, vivo a New York. If you want to say the country, just put in. If you want to put the city, it's a. Vivo a Torino, vivo in Italia. Sono insegnante. I'm a teacher. Sono, and then you say your profession. I'm, when you're talking about your job, for example, sono insegnante, I'm a teacher, or sono un pescatore, I'm a fisherman. Anyway, sono, that means I am. It's the way to say what you're doing as a job too. So you just say I am and then your profession. Ho 22 anni. I'm 22 years old. Ho 22 anni. Ho numero anni. So I'm number years. I'm 22 years old. Io ho 22 anni. In Italian we don't say I am, but I have. So io ho means I have, and then you put your number of years. So io ho 22 anni means I'm 22 years old, but literally is I have. Mi piace ascoltare la musica. I enjoy listening to music. Mi piace, I enjoy, I like. For example, mi piace ascoltare la musica. I like listening to music. Mi piace leggere libri. I like reading books. Or mi piace molto mangiare. I enjoy eating a lot. Uno dei miei hobby è la lettura. One of my hobbies is reading. One of my hobby is reading. Uno dei miei hobby è la lettura. But you can also say uno dei miei hobby è leggere. So leggere with the verb or lettura, it's a noun. You can put both after one of my hobbies. Uno dei miei hobby è. Sto imparando l'italiano su italianpod101.com. I'm learning Italian at italianpod101.com. Sto imparando l'italiano con Desiree. I'm learning Italian with Desiree. Sto imparando l'italiano da solo. I'm learning Italian by myself. Or sto imparando l'italiano attraverso la televisione. I'm learning Italian through television. I'm learning Italian listening to music. Sto imparando l'italiano ascoltando canzoni. You're great. That's a great way to do that. That was the 10 of lines you need for introducing yourself. I hope you enjoyed and you found it useful. Thank you for all your comments. I'll read every of them and I'm happy I can be useful for you to learn Italian somehow. I hope this video helped you too. So comment if you want to and remember to subscribe. Bye bye. Ciao ciao.
Want to speak real Italian from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at ItalianPod101.com.
Hi everybody! Marika here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Italian questions. The question for this lesson is, does Italian have any false friends words that look the same in English but mean something different? The answer is yes. The term false friends is the perfect name for these words. They are like people who look really familiar but are actually total strangers. We'll go through some of the most common ones, so you can avoid miscommunications when you're speaking Italian. If your Italian partner is going to introduce you to his or her parenti, you'll be meeting their relatives, not just the parents. The word parents is genitori in Italian. Also, if you see the word sale in a supermarket, don't think you're getting a discount. Sale is actually the Italian word for salt. If someone describes you as educato or educata, they are usually not talking about your education. They are saying that you are polite. And if you work in a factory, don't say you work in a fattoria. That means you work on a farm. If you are a librarian, don't work in a libreria, because that's bookshop. So don't think that you can borrow books there for free. Make sure you don't offer to take pictures with your camera. That means room. You take pictures on your macchina fotografica. Pay attention to verbs too. Attualmente means currently in Italian. The Italian for actually is in realtà. Definitely doesn't translate as definitivamente either. That means ultimately. Lastly, when you're talking about an event that's coming up later than expected, don't use eventualmente for eventually. Eventualmente means possibly, and, of course, there are many more. Got it? Keep the questions coming. If you have another question, leave it in the comments and I'll try to answer it. A presto! Hi everybody, Marika here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I will answer some of your most common Italian questions. The question for this lesson is, essere o avere? How can I choose the right auxiliary verb in compound verbs? In Italian, when forming compound tenses, such as the present perfect or passato prossimo, you'll need an auxiliary verb. This will either be essere, to be, or avere, to have. In English, you don't have to make this choice, as you only need to have. That's why deciding which auxiliary to use in Italian can be a bit difficult at first. Let's have a look at some rules that will help you choose the right auxiliary. The first thing you need to remember is that transitive verbs always need avere. Let's see some examples. Io ho mangiato una mela. I have eaten an apple. Mangiare, to eat, is a transitive verb, meaning that it can have a direct object. Giorgio ha guardato un film. Giorgio has watched a movie. Guardare, to watch, is also transitive. Abbiamo conosciuto Laura. We have met Laura. Conoscere, to meet, is also transitive. Reflexive verbs, on the other hand, always use essere. Let's see an example. Mi sono innamorato. I have fallen in love. Innamorarsi, to fall in love, is reflexive. Verbs in the passive form also use essere. La mela è stata mangiata. The apple has been eaten. È stata mangiata, meaning has been eaten, is a passive form of mangiare, to eat. What about intransitive verbs? Some use essere and others avere. Although there are no set rules, here are some things you can look out for. For example, intransitive verbs of movement always use essere, such as andare, to go, and arrivare, to arrive. Here are two sample sentences. Ieri sono andata a Venezia. Yesterday I went to Venice. Siete arrivati tardi. You have arrived late. On the other hand, intransitive verbs of movement, where the destination doesn't need to be mentioned, always use avere. Some examples are camminare, to walk, or viaggiare, to travel. A few sample sentences. Abbiamo camminato tanto. We have walked a lot. Ho viaggiato in treno. I've traveled by train. One last thing. There are some cases where both essere and avere are acceptable. This mainly happens with verbs about the weather. Piovere, to rain, nevicare, to snow, grandinare, to hail, tuonare, to thunder. So you can say è piovuto, but also ha piovuto. Both means it has rained. Pretty interesting, right? If you have any more questions, please leave a comment below. A presto, see you soon!
You are at a train station where you're attempting to buy an express ticket from a ticket machine. Which option should you choose to buy an express ticket? Which option should you choose to buy an express ticket? The option on the bottom left is for express trains.
Treni espresso.
You are at a train station where you've just bought an express ticket. Which train car, row, and seat number are you in? Which train car, row, and seat number are you in? The ticket says that you're in train car number 1 in the 8th row in seat C.
Carrozza 1, fila 8, posto C.
You are at a train station where you're reading the train schedule for an express ticket that you've just bought. On which days are there no express trains running? On which days are there no express trains running? There are no express trains running on public holidays and the third Sunday of every month.
Giorni festivi, terza domenica di ogni mese.
You are on a platform at a train station where you're waiting for your train. Suddenly, a message appears on the display. What does the message on the display mean? What does the message on the display mean? The display reads, "Train passing through."
Treno in transito.
You are at a train station where you're looking for the best exit to catch a taxi. Which exit should you take to get to the taxi rank? Which exit should you take to get to the taxi rank? You should take the east exit in order to get to the taxi rank.
Uscita est.
Hi guys, welcome to ItalianPod101.com. My name is Ilaria, nice to meet you, or nice to see you again. Well, today we're going to talk about a very nice topic, the top 10 marriage proposal lines. So, let's start. Vuoi sposarmi? Vuoi sposarmi? Will you marry me? Vuoi sposarmi? Will you marry me? Vuoi sposarmi? Well, vuoi sposarmi is the most generic way that you can say, that you can actually ask your boyfriend or girlfriend to marry him or her, you know. Of course, usually it's the man that asks the lady, but nowadays you never know, you know. But you can also say mi sposi, which is the same as saying will you marry me, but instead of saying vuoi sposarmi, you say mi sposi, vuoi farmi l'onore di diventare mia moglie. Will you do me the honor of becoming my wife? Vuoi farmi l'onore di diventare mia moglie? Vuoi farmi l'onore di diventare mia moglie? Will you do me the honor of becoming my wife? So, moglie is wife. And marito is husband. So if you want to ask your husband, your future husband, your boyfriend to marry you, then you have to say vuoi farmi l'onore di diventare mio marito? Vuoi fare di me l'uomo più felice del mondo? Vuoi fare di me l'uomo più felice del mondo? Will you make me the happiest man alive? Vuoi fare di me l'uomo più felice del mondo? Will you make me the happiest man alive? Vuoi fare di me l'uomo più felice del mondo? If you are a girl, you say, woman, you say, vuoi fare di me la donna più felice del mondo? Tu sei quello che ho aspettato per tutta la vita. Tu sei quello che ho aspettato per tutta la vita. You are the one I've been waiting for my whole life. Tu sei quello che ho aspettato per tutta la vita. Tu sei quello che ho aspettato per tutta la vita. You are the one I've been waiting for my whole life. Voglio stare con te per sempre. Voglio stare con te per sempre. I want to be with you forever. Voglio stare con te per sempre. Voglio stare con te per sempre. I want to be with you forever. You can also say, voglio stare con te per tutta la vita. For all my life, for the rest of my life. Per tutto il resto della mia vita. Passiamo il resto della nostra vita insieme. Passiamo il resto della nostra vita insieme. Let's spend the rest of our lives together. Passiamo il resto della nostra vita insieme. Passiamo il resto della nostra vita insieme. Let's spend the rest of our lives together. Averti al mio fianco è ciò che mi completa. Averti al mio fianco è ciò che mi completa. Having you by my side is what completes me. Averti al mio fianco è ciò che mi completa. Averti al mio fianco è ciò che mi completa. Having you on my side is what completes me. Very romantic, truly romantic. Non riesco ad immaginare la mia vita senza di te. Non riesco ad immaginare la mia vita senza di te. I can't imagine my life without you in it. Non riesco ad immaginare la mia vita senza di te. Non riesco ad immaginare la mia vita senza di te. I can't imagine my life without you in it. Vorrei poterti dare ogni cosa, ma spero che questo anello sia sufficiente. Vorrei poterti dare ogni cosa, ma spero che questo anello sia sufficiente. I wish I could give you everything, but I hope that this ring is enough. Vorrei poterti dare ogni cosa, ma spero che questo anello sia sufficiente. I wish I could give you everything, but I hope that this ring is enough. Siamo fatti per stare insieme. Siamo fatti per stare insieme. We are meant to be together. Siamo fatti per stare insieme. Siamo fatti per stare insieme. We are meant to be together. With these very nice and romantic phrases, we actually reached the end of our lesson. So guys, if you are preparing to propose to your girlfriend or boyfriend to marry him or her, you can actually use these amazing sentences in Italian, which is even more romantic to say I think to propose in Italian. So thanks very much for watching. See you next time on ItalianPod101.com. Take care always and bye. Bye-bye. Hi guys, welcome to ItalianPod101.com. My name is Ilaria. Nice to see you again, or nice to meet you. Today we're going to talk about a summertime topic, the 20 words you need for the beach. So let's start. Occhiali da sole. Sunglasses. Occhiali da sole. Sunglasses. Indosso gli occhiali da sole, colorati e alla moda. I wear colorful sunglasses, fashionable sunglasses. By the way, I love to wear fashionable sunglasses. I have like so many sunglasses. And you can actually say in Italy as well, mi piacciono gli occhiali alla moda. You know, which is like, I like fashionable sunglasses. Spiaggia. Beach. Spiaggia. Beach. Mi piace stare sulla spiaggia a prendere il sole. I like to lay on the beach in the sun. I mean, who doesn't, guys? I remember that I haven't been to the seaside yet this year, so I'm looking forward to it. And every time I go, I just stand on the beach all the day long, and I swim all day long, and I get very dark, and this is such a great time for myself. So I hope you will have some nice seaside time as well in your summer. Nuoto. Swimming. Nuoto. Swimming. Da bambina il nuoto era lo sport che più odiavo. When I was a child, swimming was the sport I hated the most. Well, this is not very much my case, in a way that I was like a fish myself. You know, my mom, she's come from actually a place in the south of Italy. So I used to go there every summer and used to stay there for 3 months for all the school holidays. And I used to swim like a fish. I had such a great time. Sole. Sun. Sole. Sun. Stare troppo al sole mi fa sentire stanca. Being in the sun makes me feel very tired. You can also say in Italian that like the sun is, makes you feel tired. Actually, the sun itself, the very hot weather, And you can also say se prendo troppo sole mi stanco, which is pretty much the same like to say if I stay on the sun for a very long time, I get very tired. Palma. Palm tree. Palma. Palm tree. Sogno di bere un buon cocktail sotto a una palma. I dream to drink a good cocktail under a palm tree. So this is quite refreshing as well. Let's say you are on the beach and there is a bar, and you can just go there and say, posso avere un cocktail fresco, per favore, which means, can I please have a fresh cocktail, please? Conchiglia. Seashell. Conchiglia. Seashell. Passeggiando sulla spiaggia ho trovato splendide conchiglie. Walking on the beach, I found wonderful seashells. And I still have some of the best that I took when I was on the seaside places, and there are so many which they have like very different colors and shapes, because maybe they're really old. So this is something that I really like to do when I go holidays. Costume da bagno, swimsuit. Costume da bagno, swimsuit. Hai comprato dei costumi nuovi per la prossima vacanza? Did you buy some new swimsuits for the next vacation? You can also say in Italian, hai nuovi costumi da bagno da usare? Which means, do you have some new swimsuit to use this year? Oceano, ocean, oceano, ocean. Ogni anno andiamo a fare immersioni in oceano. Every year we go to dive in the ocean. It's something that I never did really. I mean, I'm quite scared as well of the deep ocean. I think it's like I'm fascinated, at the same time I'm quite scared, but I really admire the people that they brave enough to get there, Bagnino, lifeguard. Bagnino, lifeguard. Andrea ha frequentato un corso per diventare bagnino. Andrea took a course to become a lifeguard. Telo da mare, beach towel. Telo da mare, beach towel. Preferiamo stare sul telo da mare che sul lettino. We prefer laying on the beach towel than a beach lounger. That's okay, and I tell you why. This is my case. Just because then I like to feel the softness of the beach, really, of the sand, I really like that feeling. Sedia a sdraio, beach chair. Sedia a sdraio, beach chair. Affittare le sedie a sdraio in agosto può essere abbastanza costoso. Renting beach chairs in August may be quite expensive, and this is actually a truth because everyone in Italy, I mean, most of the people in Italy goes on holidays in August, So and that's the main period where everything is more expensive if you go. So it's just a very generic circumstance. Castello di sabbia, sandcastle. Castello di sabbia, sandcastle. Tutti i bambini e molti adulti adorano fare castelli di sabbia. All children and many adults love to make sandcastles. I love that much, very, very much myself as well. Mini frigorifero, cooler. Mini frigorifero, cooler. Con il mini frigorifero è possibile mangiare e bere bibite fresche anche nelle spiagge isolate. Using a cooler, it's possible to have food and fresh drinks, even in isolated beaches. Marea, tide. Marea, tide. Quando si alza la marea, alcune isolette scompaiono. When the tide goes up, some little islands disappear. Abbronzatura, tan. Abbronzatura, tan. Prendere l'abbronzatura usando la crema solare è possibile. Getting a suntan while using a sunscreen is possible. And I'm adding, not just possible, you should do that all the time because it's quite, if you don't use any sun protection, it's quite dangerous for your skin. Because of the UV ray and that's the main reason basically, but you should anyway. It's very important. Snorkeling, 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 snorkeling. Facciamo snorkeling sperando di vedere i pesci tropicali. We go snorkeling hoping to see tropical fishes. This is one of the few words in Italian that they are exactly the same in English. So snorkeling in Italian, snorkeling in English, same. Infradito, flip-flop. Infradito, flip-flop. Le infradito sono bellissime ma a volte scomode. Flip-flops are beautiful but sometimes uncomfortable, which is actually a truth. Bikini, 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 bikini. I bikini della prossima estate avranno colori sgargianti. Next summer bikinis will be just colorful. Bikini. Bikini is another word that in Italian is exactly the same in English. Bikini, bikini. Cappellino, hat, cap. Cappellino, hat, cap. Mettere il cappellino sulla testa dei bambini in spiaggia è importante. Putting a hat on the head of children at the beach is very important. Why? Because children are definitely more delicate and fragile than adults. So everyone should use a cap or some protection, but a particular attention should be for the kids, for the youngest. Gelato, ice cream. Gelato, ice cream. In Italia i gelati alla frutta sono davvero deliziosi. In Italy, fruit ice creams are very delicious. I love ice cream. I mean, Italian ice creams are amazing, really. So if you love ice cream, you should just try Italian ice cream if you go holiday in my place, you know. Anyway, so with this wonderful and sweet thoughts, we end this lesson, guys. And thanks very much for listening to me. Please subscribe, comment, tell me what you think. Tell me if I just missed a word, if you want to add something, you know, your comments are very, very important to us. So thanks for listening, and I wish you a great day. Bless you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Hi everybody, Marika here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Italian questions. The question for this lesson is, why don't I always need to conjugate the verb in a subordinate clause? Sometimes Italian seems simpler than English because it can have an infinitive verb, whereas English has a conjugated form. For example, lui sa di avere ragione. He knows he is right. Why is avere not conjugated? What are the rules that regulate this? The sentence in the example above can be divided into two clauses. Lui sa di, meaning he knows that, is the main clause. Avere ragione, literally to be right, is the subordinate clause. In English, it's translated as he is right. This is a special kind of subordinate clause called implicit. Implicit subordinate clauses feature a non-finite mood verb, which means not conjugable verb. Infinitive is the most used in Italian. If the subject of the main clause and the subordinate is the same, the infinitive can replace clauses beginning with che. Sounds complicated. Look at these examples. Non sono sicura che partirò. I'm not sure I will leave. You can say, non sono sicura di partire. Mario sa che è bravo in matematica. Mario knows he's good at math. You can say, Mario sa di essere bravo in matematica. When the subject in the two sentences is the same, and the first verb is a thinking verb, your only option is to use the infinitive in the second sentence. So if you want to say, I hope I will leave, you have to say, spero di partire, not spero che io parta. The second one is too wordy and sounds unnatural. However, if the subjects are different, you must use the subjunctive. Spero che Laura parta. I hope Laura will leave. Pretty simple, right? If you have any more questions, please leave us a comment. A presto, see you soon!
Una donna sta chiedendo qualcosa ad un commesso in una libreria. Quale libro voleva vedere la donna? Mi scusi, vorrei dare un'occhiata ad un libro su quello scaffale.
Quale libro vorrebbe?
Il libro sulle macchine.
Aspetti un attimo, per favore. Questo?
Esatto!
Eccolo.
Quale libro voleva vedere la donna? Una donna sta chiedendo qualcosa ad un commesso in una libreria. Quale libro voleva vedere la donna? Mi scusi, vorrei dare un'occhiata ad un libro su quello scaffale.
Quale libro vorrebbe?
Il libro sulle macchine.
Aspetti un attimo, per favore. Questo?
Esatto!
Eccolo.
Un uomo e una donna stanno guardando un menù in un ristorante. Che cosa ha ordinato l'uomo?
Che cosa vorreste ordinare?
Questa pizza sembra deliziosa. La prendo.
Io ho mangiato la pizza ieri, quindi
Ah, allora che ne dici di questo hamburger?
sembra una buona idea. Lo prendo.
Che cosa ha ordinato l'uomo? Un uomo e una donna stanno guardando un menù in un ristorante. Che cosa ha ordinato l'uomo?
Che cosa vorreste ordinare?
Questa pizza sembra deliziosa. La prendo.
Io ho mangiato la pizza ieri, quindi
Ah, allora che ne dici di questo hamburger?
sembra una buona idea. Lo prendo.
Un uomo sta parlando con un ambulatorio medico al telefono. L'uomo entro che ora deve andare lì? Pronto, come posso aiutarla?
Quando siete aperti oggi?
Fino alle 6, ma per favore venga prima delle 5:30.
Ok.
L'uomo entro che ora deve andare lì? Un uomo sta parlando con un ambulatorio medico al telefono. L'uomo entro che ora deve andare lì? Pronto, come posso aiutarla?
Quando siete aperti oggi?
Fino alle 6, ma per favore venga prima delle 5:30.
Ok.
Un ragazzo legge il suo diario. Che cosa ha fatto il ragazzo per prima cosa in quella giornata?
Oggi faceva veramente bel tempo. Questo pomeriggio sono andato in una piscina. E di sera sono andato a vedere un film. Inoltre, di mattina ho studiato. È stata proprio una bella giornata.
Che cosa ha fatto il ragazzo per prima cosa in quella giornata? Un ragazzo legge il suo diario. Che cosa ha fatto il ragazzo per prima cosa in quella giornata?
Oggi faceva veramente bel tempo. Questo pomeriggio sono andato in una piscina. E di sera sono andato a vedere un film. Inoltre, di mattina ho studiato. È stata proprio una bella giornata.
Un uomo e una donna stanno guardando una foto. Che foto stanno guardando? È la foto della squadra di calcio di tuo figlio, no? Qual è tuo figlio?
Questo
Ah, è il più alto della squadra.
è più alto di me.
Che foto stanno guardando? Un uomo e una donna stanno guardando una foto. Che foto stanno guardando? È la foto della squadra di calcio di tuo figlio, no? Qual è tuo figlio?
Questo
Ah, è il più alto della squadra.
è più alto di me.
When learning a new language, we sometimes have a hard time with things like procrastination, discouragement, or failure. But don't panic. With a good strategy, you'll be able to overcome these difficulties. Are you ready to discover the 4 habits of successful learners? Number 1. Optimize your time. When learning a language, it's important to dedicate time to your studies regularly, even if sometimes it's difficult. You're busy with school, work, family, or friends, but you can spread out your learning throughout the day. Study whenever you have small gaps of time in your busy schedule. This can be when you're on the metro, on your lunch break, or while you're exercising. Our podcast learning format fits perfectly into your tight schedule. Number 2, consistency with your chosen method. There are a lot of options when it comes to courses and learning materials. Switching from one method to another can confuse you and disrupt your progress. Focusing on one learning method will make a difference. Our method has been created and optimized by real teachers, so you can stick to it with confidence. Number 3, use your language background. Many languages share some commonalities. You can find words that look or sound similar, or even share the same grammar structure. A little bit of language background will give you an edge while learning. Number 4, study continuously. People are excited when they start learning a new language. The enthusiasm usually lasts until the first roadblock. This can lead to discouragement and procrastination. But don't burn yourself out. Learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. Don't try to learn it all at once. Break things down into more digestible chunks. Learning step by step might feel slow, but it's an efficient way to learn a language. With patience, motivation, and good resources, you'll master the language. Remember, you can't learn a language overnight, but with motivation and these daily lessons, you'll be on the road to fluency. When learning a new language, everyone should have an ultimate goal to work towards. Whether you want to be able to connect with a relative, easily order food while traveling, or go somewhere new, having an end goal for your learning can be very motivating. A popular but challenging goal is being able to speak like a native speaker. It's difficult to measure exactly when you reach this goal, and it's not something you can pick up using textbooks alone. So how do you work on making your speech more natural? That's what we're going to look at today. Here are 3 tips to help you practice talking like a native speaker. Number 1, focus on vocabulary. If your goal is to speak like a native, you might be really focused on speaking quickly or using as many complex grammar patterns as possible. But in our native languages, we're not always trying to speak as fast as possible, and we use complex grammar patterns when necessary, not to show off. Vocabulary, however, is extremely important to expressing ourselves naturally. Your choice of words can reveal a lot about you and your understanding of the language. Most learners have had the experience of using a phrasebook or a dictionary to find a word they want to use, trying the word in conversation, and getting a look of confusion from the native speaker. In some cases, although your word choice may be grammatically correct, the word may be inappropriate for the situation or totally unnatural. This is especially important in business and other formal situations, where the right level of formality and professionalism is key. Being able to understand nuances in vocabulary words can also help you understand relationships between people just by listening to the conversation. Try to listen to many different types of conversations. Listen to how people talk to their friends, their superiors, and in customer service situations. This will give you a better idea of how to talk to others naturally. In some languages, you can omit words from sentences or use more direct communication styles. It's important to be aware of these things so you can apply them yourself. Colloquialisms and slang are also commonly used in most languages. As this sort of vocabulary is always evolving, it can be difficult to keep up with the latest words. Talk with native speakers and consume media in your target language to make sure you pick up these kinds of expressions. Media is a great resource for your learning. Ultimately, knowing the appropriate vocabulary to use for each situation will really help you sound more knowledgeable. Number 2, perfect your accent. With every language, there are unique pronunciation and intonation challenges. Some languages are tonal languages, and a change in pitch can completely change the meaning of a word. Then there's the fact that most countries have multiple dialects, and so people from one area of the country may sound different from those in another. So what is the best way to listen to a wide range of accents and different pronunciations? Video and audio resources are a great way to do this. YouTube is a perfect place to start because people from all kinds of different backgrounds upload videos to the platform. You can watch educational videos, daily life vlogs, cooking shows, a travel series, whatever interests you. Pay attention to the different ways people speak. Everyone is unique. And then practice speaking like them. This kind of practice can help you sound more natural. One note, please be aware of the type of resources you're using. For example, if you find a video where a speaker uses a rare dialect, it might not be a good idea to use that for your pronunciation practice, unless you have a special reason for studying a specific accent. As a general rule, it's best to try to search for practice resources that use a standard form of the language you're studying. Number 3, copy what you hear. Do you remember how you learned to speak as a child? We rarely learned new words just listening to them, or reading after we learned how. When we were little kids, we imitated the sounds we heard by repeating the sounds out loud. While you're talking to a friend, watching videos, or listening to audio in your target language, you can do this to try and replicate the way they speak. Doing this will help you work on mastering the flow of the language, your accent, intonation, and pronunciation. Of course, you might also pick up some new vocabulary this way. Make sure to repeat new words often. It's a great way to make sure you remember them. Try doing this using a number of different mediums and sources. That way, you'll be exposed to the diversity that the language offers and master the fundamentals of pronunciation. For example, you can watch and imitate several different YouTube videos and audio CDs, but try a few different sources, like different creators or different audio types, to make sure you experience a wide range of communication in your target language. If you're using our language learning program, you can even get your own teacher with Premium Plus. Your teacher can answer questions, give assignments, and even listen to your recordings and give you advice on pronunciation. Completing these kinds of lessons with a native teacher can really boost your confidence in your speaking skills. Becoming able to speak like a native is a popular goal for many people learning a new language. It feels great to be able to communicate smoothly, especially when the people you're talking to expect basic level sentences or broken communication. Try using the tips we've shared in this video to work on improving your speaking skills. Of course, it'll take time and persistence, but the reward will be more natural communication. And for even more tips on speaking, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! Want to know how to improve your listening and speaking skills, be able to save conversations, listen to them as many times as you want, and learn hundreds of practical everyday conversations? Well, there is an easy way to do this. In this video, we'll go over how to speak more using the dialogue track. So, what is the dialogue track? The dialogue track is an audio track with just the conversation from the lesson. It's only about 10 to 30 seconds long. Let's say you're looking at a 5-minute lesson about ordering food at a restaurant. First, you hear a conversation. Then our teachers explain every grammar rule and translate every word, so you know what it all means. That's where the dialogue track comes in. It gives you just the conversation. Here's what makes the dialogue track so powerful. First, you can quickly review the conversation without re-listening to the lesson. The dialogue track is just 10 to 30 seconds long, so it won't take you very long to cover both new and old information. This makes it perfect for a quick review of what you've just learned, and it helps keep it fresh in your brain. Second, you'll remember the conversations easier. Listen on repeat, like you would with a song, and the words, phrases, and grammar rules will stick better. And the more you come back to re-listen, the better it will all stick. Third, you'll speak more of your target language. So if you have 10, 20, or 100 dialogue tracks like that, then you have 10, 20, or 100 conversations that you'll know inside out and that you can use in real life. For example, conversations like catching up with friends, ordering at a restaurant, talking about your family, introducing yourself, and much, much more. Fourth, you improve your listening skills and can immerse yourself in the language. So imagine you've finished 20 lessons and you've downloaded 20 dialogue tracks to your phone. That's 20 conversations. You can create a playlist and play those 20 tracks and get used to the language and immerse yourself. To recap what we just learned, here's what you do to make the most of the dialogue tracks. First, after you finish a lesson, download the dialogue track. Save it to your computer or phone so you can listen to it on repeat whenever possible. Just replace 3 to 15 minutes of music listening for some language review. Next, if you've finished 20 lessons, you should have 20 dialogue tracks. Use those to create a playlist of these dialogue tracks so that you can listen to all kinds of conversations. And finally, try shadowing the conversations that you hear. This will become super easy once you've heard the conversation enough times. But if you're still struggling with a word or two, go back to the lesson and check the line-by-line breakdown of the conversation to find the words you need to practice. Boost your speaking skills with the dialogue track and check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! Want to speak your target language with confidence and impress native speakers? When learning to speak a new language, you have lots of things to think about, including grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. Because you're thinking of all of these things and trying to speak, it can be difficult to communicate with confidence, especially in the beginning. This is why it's helpful to make confidence-building exercises part of your language learning process. In this video, you'll learn 7 ways to boost your confidence. 1. Read out loud. This might seem pretty basic, but it's a great way to practice speaking. Reading aloud lets you practice speaking without having to think about grammar or things to talk about. Reading out loud lets you focus on your pronunciation and the rhythm of the language. It can help you learn to speak more smoothly and quickly, without even thinking about it. If you're using our lessons, read the dialogue out loud as you listen. You can read along with the dialogue tool, the lesson notes, or the transcript. 2. Read like a child. This might sound strange, but think about children learning to read. They go slow and sound everything out. Maybe it takes 2 or 3 tries before they read a new word smoothly, and a few more tries before they can read it at a natural pace. This example applies to language learning too. If you find a complex sentence in something you're reading, read it slowly at first, then speed up. With practice, you'll be able to say it easily. It might feel a bit silly to speak very slowly, but this kind of practice can help you identify tough sounds you might miss or say incorrectly when reading quickly. 3. Use the dialogue breakdown tool. If you're using our site, this is a great tool to take advantage of. It breaks down lesson conversations into individual lines. You can listen to the audio for each line, learn what each line means, and can reread and review as much as you want. 4. Use the voice recorder to record and compare yourself with native speakers. Just click on the microphone icon next to each line in the dialogue section. You can use this tool to perfect your pronunciation if you like, but this is also something you can use to work on speaking with confidence at native level speed. You'll find this tool in the dialogue section of all of our lessons. 5. Repeat and review old lesson conversations. Reviewing what you've studied in the past is the best way to make sure you maintain what you've learned. Go back to older lessons, download the lesson dialogue tracks, and re-listen to the conversations again and again. Or you can reread the dialogue lines from previous lessons until you've mastered them all. 6. Shadow conversations. Repeat what you hear out loud. This tactic is important, but it can be tricky when you're doing a brand new lesson. If you're reviewing dialogues from lessons you've done though, it's super easy to do. Just listen to the dialogue and repeat what you hear. Shadowing means mimicking the speaker as soon as they speak, following their intonation and rhythms as closely as possible. 7. Send recordings to your Premium Plus teacher. If you want to speak with confidence, there's no better confidence boost than feedback from a native speaker, and you get just that with a Premium Plus teacher. You can record yourself reciting a lesson dialogue or any dialogue of your own, and your teacher will give you specific tips on how to improve. From the tips your teacher gives you, choose at least one and practice, practice, practice. Being able to react quickly and with confidence in a conversation is typically not something you can do on your first try, but if you continue practicing, you'll gradually find yourself speaking with ease. And for even more ways to build your speaking confidence, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! When you start out learning a foreign language, everything is exciting. You pick up new words and basic phrases fairly quickly. The first time you say a greeting or answer the question, "How are you?" you might even get a little thrill. Speaking fluently doesn't feel that far off, and at this point, it really does seem like language learning isn't all that difficult. But after a week or two, things begin to change. After a few weeks of study, you start to hit walls as you're faced with strange grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. Everything about learning a new language seemed promising and hopeful before, but now you start to realize how difficult it's going to be. Speaking the language now feels like a long, far-off goal that you may or may not achieve one day. But don't let the innocence of being an absolute beginner or the disillusionment of being an experienced learner discourage you from learning. Speaking a new language may not be as far off as you thought. In this video, we'll look at 3 tips to help you practice your speaking skills, no matter what level you're at. Number 1, practice with native speakers. Practicing with native speakers is by far one of the most effective things you can do to improve your speaking abilities. Think of speaking a foreign language as riding a bike. After a certain point, you can't read or theorize about how to do it. You have to actually do it. If you can practice speaking with native speakers who correct you and give good feedback, then you'll be well on your way to improving your speaking. But where can you find native speakers to practice with? If you live in or near a major city, there's a good chance there are some native speakers there. You might even get lucky and discover an entire community. Do a little research into the demographics of your city, or simply keep your eyes open the next time you go through town. You can also attend a language exchange or cultural event. Meetup is a site for local enthusiast groups, and there are usually some language-speaking clubs or cultural clubs there. If you're unable to find native speakers where you live, then jump online and find them there. There are a lot of free online exchanges that allow you to connect with other language learners from all over the globe via text, audio, or video chat. Look for a speaker who is learning your native language. You can spend an hour or so helping each other in your respective target languages. This is a highly practical and helpful way to learn. It's also a great way to learn more directly about the culture you're studying in a real way. Number 2, devote some time to learning pronunciation. Pronunciation often isn't the first skill people think of working on when learning a foreign language, but that doesn't mean that it isn't important. Truth be told, you don't absolutely need a great accent to speak or understand every language. However, a decent accent can vastly improve your listening and speaking abilities in ways you might not expect. Being able to pronounce words and sounds makes it a lot easier for you to remember and understand new words simply by hearing them. If you can physically make a sound with your mouth, then you can mentally remember it. Once you have a good accent, the new language won't sound as foreign as it once did, and you'll be able to understand rapid speech, as well as pick up the definition of new words based on their conversational context. But how can you improve your accent? If you're serious about developing your accent, then you'll want to dissect the language's sound system into its individual parts. First by letters, then individual words, followed by whole phrases. Start doing some mild research on the phonetics of your target language. You don't have to get too technical here. Just try to get an idea of some of the main differences between it and your native language. Find out where native speakers usually put their tongue while saying certain sounds, or pay attention to the shape of their mouths when they speak. Is it open or closed? These subtle differences are what really help you improve. Once you get the letters down, start listening to native audio and compare your pronunciation to the native speakers. Our language learning program's playback feature is a great way to accomplish this. Take a phrase from a lesson and start by practicing the individual words, playing the audio back at a slower speed and then again at a regular speed. After comparing your speech to the audio, combine the words to make complete phrases, imitating the intonation of the native speakers. This precise method of pronunciation practice is one of the most efficient and effective ways to learn pronunciation. Number 3, imitate, don't just repeat. Anytime you speak, do your best to imitate the native speakers you've heard and practice with. Match the way their intonation rises and falls. Pay attention to their word order. It's even a good idea to match some of their body language. This degree of imitation will probably feel weird at first, but it reinforces fluency in the language and breaks you out of the parrot trap, where you simply learn and speak through rote memorization or repetition. This is a common problem that's often cited with other less effective language learning methods. Speaking a language is like playing music or dancing. You don't want to just know it. You want to live in the moment and feel it as you use it. You don't sit and think of what you're going to say in your native language before you say it. Why would you expect to do the same in a new one? Don't let ruffled expectations make you think that speaking a new language is impossible. Yes, it's difficult, but it probably isn't as difficult as you think it is. With a little determination and some faithful practice, you might be surprised how quick and how far you can progress. Use these tips to better practice the language and see real results in your speaking abilities. And for even more ways to practice your speaking, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! Want to speed up your language learning? Take your very first lesson with us. You'll start speaking in minutes and master real conversations. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Just click the link in the description.